I'm Hokey Joker.
Bat Drew.
Green Lantern.
And welcome to Just Us Bros Podcast. Hey bros, welcome back to Just Us Bros Podcast. As always, I'm Hokey Joker.
I'm Birch on a Perch.
I'm Green Lantern.
And we have a special guest with us today. We got
Flashman.
and a bonus special guest.
What's your DC name?
What's your DC name?
Sex Luthor.
That's actually pretty
Excellent.
amazing, but I don't know if I can take that. That's too good. I'll probably have to be Aquahung.
Aqua.
Okay, we'll go.
Oh, AQ. I like that. So anyway, guys, as we all know, within the past couple of years, they have put an emphasis on streaming services like HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, and all their genres like that. But do we really think it's affecting the superhero movie genre? What's your opinion on that? Because we're about to get into ours. I mean, who wants to start us off?
My opinion is, if you look at Bat Drew on the screen right now, he looks like he's a real person, and you and I and everything else like a fake background, and he's the only person that's real.
He's very bright.
He is very bright. Doesn't
Very
it look like
Buddy the
it's
elf right now.
like a Zoom background or something, and he's just like CGI'd in or whatever?
That's Birch on a Perch.
Like I can't touch them because I'm
Perch
real.
on a
They're
perch.
fake.
Well, I'm glad we have our own Buddy the Elf. So who wants to start us off with streaming services and like why we think
Why did you say services?
Because it's cold. Cold.
I got the heat on. It's 69 degrees in here.
Nice.
So with streaming services, do you think that has having an effect on this year's 2023's superhero movies outcome?
Oh wait, AH.
Oh yeah, AH.
Real.
So in my opinion, I think everything needs to stand on its own. Like Marvels was the worst example of that, because I watched WandaVision, but it was a while back. I don't even remember Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel too. Was she in that even? I think she was like
In WandaVision?
she was in WandaVision, right? Monica Rambeau.
Not
No.
Monica was in WandaVision.
Monica, and then Captain Marvel
Yeah.
just had a movie.
Yeah,
And Miss
but
had her own shit.
yeah, but Monica's relationship with Captain Marvel was discussed in Captain Marvel, I think.
Yeah, she was a little girl.
Yeah, that's right. But I didn't really remember her much at all, and I did watch Miss Marvel too, which I thought it was pretty decent, but you can't expect like everybody to watch these streaming services and then watch the movie, especially like with such minor characters. I just don't think that was right. Same with like Multiverse of Madness too, because if you didn't watch WandaVision, then you're still a little bit lost too watching that movie. So I think things need to stand on their own. You can like reference it a little bit, but when it's like that significant to the story in the movie, I don't think it's well done.
Yeah, because I'll piggyback off of what Aquahung was saying here. Just his example that he used, the Marvels. Us, of course, going into that, we had a bit of a taste of, we understood who Miss Marvel was, Captain Marvel, and Monica Rambeau from the comics, but also from what we saw in Captain Marvel previously, the movie, and the Disney Plus shows. But for the average goer, they're gonna see the trailer and be like, okay, I think I remember seeing Captain Marvel in like those Avengers movies, and I think she had a movie, but who are these other people? Like if they hadn't seen the Disney Plus shows, Disney Plus and Marvel execs probably thinking, well, either they're gonna already have subscriptions to Disney Plus and whatnot and understand who these characters are because they're gonna watch this stuff first, or they're gonna they're either gonna they have what am I trying to say? They're thinking that they're going to watch these shows if they don't understand who these characters are. But where I think the disconnect is happening is I don't think that they're going back and actually going back to Disney Plus to watch and figure out who these characters are. And that's where the disconnect is happening. It's like, I'm not investing in these characters because I don't feel like I have to want to watch 6 hours to understand what's happening in these movies, because it's like Aquahung was saying. If you're gonna have Disney Plus shows, make them stand on their own, not be something that is an extra bonus or something you would need to do research on. Like watch these shows before you watch these movies to make sure you understand the stuff. It's just too much for people. Like we got too much going on. I ain't got time for all that. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, us nerds, we do have time for all that, but for the average moviegoer, like they're not gonna want to be like, hey, okay, well let's go back and watch these movies so maybe we can understand what's going on better. They're just kind of turned off. They're like, well, okay, I guess this is a cool movie, but I really wish I knew more about these characters because they're just making me feel like I should.
Do you feel like you're like backtracking? Like if you watch the Marvels first and you're like, who's this Miss Marvel? And then you'd have to backtrack and like watch everything, but isn't that series then spoiled because you know she's alive at the end of it?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's definitely different for our group, like genre, like of comic book nerds and people that actually are invested in the stuff. Like, say for instance, they had like a Green Lantern show come out or something, and there's a bunch of characters in the Green Lantern movies that HBO Max did backstories on for already. I'm gonna go into that movie and be like, huh, what? Kilowog? Like, obviously I know who Kilowog is. Don't kill me, GL. But like going into that, if Kilowog was in that movie, like, okay, I know John Stewart's, I know Hal Jordan's. Who the hell is Kilowog? Oh wait, HBO Max had a show. Maybe I should go back to, and then I can appreciate the Green Lantern movie more. But the average moviegoer is just gonna be like, ah, that character was cool, but I really didn't connect because I didn't know much about it. Like,
Hooser.
but
Yeah. I think Marvel got a little too complacent because they did such a good job through Endgame, and they're just like, oh, people love our shit. Like we can just make whatever, and people will like be super into it. So they just assumed everyone would watch these Disney Plus shows and then watch the Marvel movies. But the quality dropped off so much that I just feel like they're not even worth it to go watch all those shows and invest the time in and then watch the movies because it's all gotten kind of mediocre. And
But I will say though, with some of the MCU stuff that is standalone is like you wouldn't need to go back and watch the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special, which is Guardian 2.5. It's just there for that.
I never saw it.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
enjoyed the
actually,
Christmas special. I enjoyed
yeah,
it,
but
but
it
it
doesn't.
shouldn't. Yeah. The biggest
It
thing
doesn't
is it
really.
shouldn't be mandatory. It shouldn't be
It
mandatory.
wasn't, and it wasn't, in my opinion. I mean, there was one throwaway line, but I'm not watching 45 minutes to get one line. Just like I Am
Yeah.
Groot, like they were teasing, like let's watch this whole series on I Am Groot. I watched the whole series in like 5 minutes. Like it was like 6 episodes, a minute long each. Like those are YouTube shorts, if
Yeah.
we're honest.
Hmm.
My thing, kind of back to what Aquahung was saying, is you can't expect. Yeah, you throw a little, like a throwback or a wink or a nod to the audience, like, oh yeah, remember when this happened? But don't do a whole movie based on, oh, they should already know what happened.
Yeah. It shouldn't be
And
mandatory.
it shouldn't be mandatory. And Marvel with the Disney Plus is really bad with it. Like, not saying anything about the shows. I've not really kept up with the shows, but like talking about. So my example is a spinoff of a spinoff of a spinoff. So like you had, I don't even know the name of the show, but where Kate Bishop and
A Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, like,
It's called Hawkeye.
for one, Hawkeye never got his own movie. He never really got to shine on his own. So the
Yeah.
show, I was like, okay, maybe this will be like for him, but it really centered more on Kate. And then they introduce a character in that show that now is getting her own spinoff. It's like, I again, I don't really care about that character. So why am I going to watch a show based on it? And then 2 years from now, don't make me watch a movie where someone else that was in that show has a big part in the movie that I'm supposed to know who it is because of that show.
But shows that they did good at, like Daredevil. Never see
Yeah.
him.
well, we saw him in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Briefly.
Yeah. But watching 3 seasons of that for one cameo.
But yeah, going like that is actually a good example of Spider-Man. What was it? No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Was that No Way Home?
Yeah. When
Yeah,
Almost.
Yeah. Like the audience that already seen the Disney Plus shows understood and knew who Daredevil was. That didn't take away from anything from the movie. Like you didn't have to go, who's that guy? I need to watch these Disney Plus shows to understand what his character. He was just boom, there, gone. That was it. And didn't
That's a good example of them doing it right. You're right.
and a horrible example of them doing this was actually going back to the Marvels, where Miss Marvel at the end goes to Kate Bishop's apartment and is like, I'm putting together a team. Like obviously I I felt like, hell yeah, let's go, because she's being Nick Fury putting together like a Young Avengers team. But to the general audience, they're like, why is she important? And then they come to find out, hey, there's a show on Disney Plus you could watch. And they're like, I don't care. I just want to watch this movie. Like that, I think to have the effect that it had for me, for the general audience, they would have to have already seen those shows, which they probably have not.
Yeah.
Flashman, do you have anything to add to that?
I have very limited information to give on this one because I have not watched any of the streaming shows for Marvel.
Gotcha.
I-
So that's fine. But you watch the Marvels.
Nope. I have not watched a single Marvel movie other than Spider-Man
You don't
since
need to
Age
see
of
the
Ultron. Since
Wow.
Age of Ultron.
What about Guardians 3?
Oh, still haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, and I will say this, including with Disney though, they're also releasing a massive ton of Star Wars as well. So it's not just Marvel Comics. You got
Yeah.
your Mandalorians, your Book of Boba Fett's, which is Mandalorian. Was it 2.5? Some people called it. Andor, the Bad Batch.
Yep.
I'm a bad batch.
Yeah. And Flashman, I know you're a fan because you're getting into 3D printing of some of the helmets. But do
Yep.
you think that's too much Star Wars? Do you think it's going to cause a decline? Because I know Rise of Skywalker and all those were very divisive, I should say.
You know, I actually think the streaming shows are better than the recent movies we've gotten since the original three. I hated the prequels. I was not a fan of the Rey wannabe Skywalker crap either. They were fun movies to watch, and I'm glad we seen them. But I don't think I've seen them but maybe once since then. But the streaming shows like Mando, Boba, Ahsoka, I absolutely have loved. They're diving more into these characters that, who knew what the Mando was outside of Boba Fett before that show happened? Realistically, who knew?
Or before the Star Wars Christmas special.
Yeah,
You like your Christmas special. don't you?
Also, Flashman for the Star Wars shows are pretty much all of them almost all connected. Like
in a
They all-
way, yeah,
Yeah.
in a way, except for Andor because it happened between a Solo and Thor. So
And Mando took place between episode 6 and
6
7.
and 7, yeah.
And
Along
Ahsoka
with
took place,
Ahsoka is right there, and so is Book of Boba Fett. Yeah,
and Bad Batch was between.
was between 2 and 3. Yes.
okay, so
Well, 2 to Rogue One, like that time frame.
okay, so I'm gonna be the first to admit I have not watched all of the Star Wars on Disney Plus. I have seen a majority of the things. Yes, I know, it's shocking, but I have seen a majority of the shows, and I have enjoyed them too. But also, I think this is a good example of the shows are not really directly they are connected, but it's like a callback
They're just-
for the
Yeah,
movie.
they're just telling more of the story that you didn't get in the movies.
A universal
not
connection, not a
making-
person to person.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
It's not like all of these streaming shows are out and then all of a sudden they make a movie where they're like, hey, guess what? To find out more about this, to understand this, come back to the shows. It's like,
Yep.
that formula, I guess, works better than what's happening now, I could say, right? Because they're making shows based on movies that have been out for ages.
And I think there's another streaming service that does it differently than Marvel did. Like Marvel's very, you need to watch Miss Marvel to enjoy the Marvels.
Crunchyroll,
Or Crunchyroll, whatever. But
Amazon Prime,
Amazon Prime.
Paramount Plus.
No, he's obviously talking about Hulu.
Hulu.
HBO Max because
Max, baby.
DC had
It's
already
just Max, not
it's
HBO.
Max, formerly HBO Max. This is like a Twitter X situation. But for like previously, DC Warner Brothers has announced there is a multiverse. The Flash TV show, the Arrowverse, is not connected with the DCU. You have shows like Titans, which I enjoyed, Doom Patrol, which is connected to Titans somehow, and then animated shows like
Young Justice.
Young Justice, yeah, and then you also have Peacemaker, which is connected to the DCU. So you have all these different avenues to go down. Even though Doom Patrol ended, Titans ended, Young Justice ended. Question mark?
Young Justice is still in limbo right now for
Kind
season
of
5.
a cliffhanger, right? Yeah.
But so like if you enjoyed the Suicide Squad with everybody, you can go back and watch Peacemaker to continue that story. If you like, your kids could watch Young Justice.
And Peacemaker did a good job as far as okay, this is its own show, it's its own story. But in the first 5 minutes, they're like, here's what happened in the Suicide Squad, so that you need to get caught up on this character. And I thought that was a good callback. Here's the stuff that happened. Here's what this character's about. Roll.
But but again, like if you watch Titans, even the Batman actor is different. So it's different even from the first F Batman. Doom Patrol, actually that just ended, and I thought it ended on a very heartfelt moment.
Spoil.
No spoilers.
No spoilers. But
I haven't seen the first
for,
four
for
seasons.
for a weird show, it ended very heartfelt. But those are different directions you can take from animated to DC, and some of those were good. Young Justice was a hit.
And that's its own universe.
It's its own universe. Arrowverse was a hit.
It's its own universe.
It's its own universe.
I mean,
Yep.
at this point, we're part of the Arrowverse because we partnered with so many of those cast members, and like they have a special place in our hearts.
But this is just a subjectional question. Do you think that all these streaming services are hurting superhero movie genres?
Yes.
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 And I don't think everything needs to be in a one size fits all connected universe. Like, just
Correct.
tell good stories and have good character development. Like, and yeah, if you want to do a cameo, yeah, that's cool. But don't let one show ride on the coattails of another movie or vice versa.
Because that first Iron Man, though great, something's gonna snap. Like, because they're bad already. But the movie's already bad, or they're getting worse. Sorry, they're not catastrophic yet. They're still making money.
I don't know. Marvel's had a lot of catastrophic stuff in
Uh-huh.
this.
Especially in the Marvels. Oh my god.
Yeah. But
Flirtles.
So-
What were they called?
Flurkins?
Flurkins.
Yeah.
Flurkins.
What's the Flurkin?
But this isn't a question that we're telling you the answer to. This is what you're gonna have to answer for yourself at the end of the day, because we're all different.
Also, I got something else to add too. Like this is technically it is its own genre, like superhero genre, like comic book nerd genre. It's its own genre, and we're only really thinking about a big three: Star Wars, Marvel, DC. I really think that's also affecting productivity for like maybe somebody like Image Comics or Dark Horse or like characters from other brands, because it's not just Marvel, DC, and that's it. Like
Wouldn't you love to see a Spawn TV show?
I would,
Oh my God, yes.
yes, I would love that. I would love to. Well, we have a boys TV show, but that's like one small chunk, like Arrow throwing on Amazon Prime. Like what else? Like,
Well, I mean, Watchmen. I forgot about Watchmen on Max.
Yeah.
well, that's technically part of now
The create.
DC, right?
Yeah.
But going back to my point, I feel like they're just thinking about the big three, and to an extent, some of the smaller characters that could be great in other stuff. I feel like that's suffering. Do you guys like agree or disagree, or agree to disagree?
I mean, look at what's Hellboy? Is that Dark Horse?
I feel like it is.
I think so.
It is
So,
Dark
so
Horse.
that had quite a few movies and did a good franchise. But
And then
to
they
the
tried to
left.
reboot it, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, Hellboy, is he Marvel? Is he DC? Which one? Oh, I don't know. I don't care, because the
Yeah.
reboot with Hopper would
Yeah.
have been great. I really felt like he would have nailed the character, and I would have loved to see his trilogy, but it kind of just flopped.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a Hellboy TV show, honestly, because I read through his whole like main comics. Like there's 12 volumes and it's like really good. And I'm
That's
just
it.
surprised they
That's
haven't
a-
really adapted it.
Yeah.
That's another
Also-
thing. Like, there should be a divide. Like some things will work better as a streaming service or TV show. Some things work better as a movie.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, like HA was saying, like Hellboy, I would love that as a series, because I don't think you can put all of that capsulized even in the trilogy in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we've discussed this on our other podcast, at least the Blue Beetle review. I've said adamantly that started off as a mini series, and I think it would have done better as a mini series so they can flesh out the characters. But it didn't, because when I watched it, it didn't feel big enough to be on the big screen.
Yeah.
It felt more like a Moon Knight, which felt pretty good on the small screen,
I didn't think so.
but he didn't like Moon Knight. So again, all subjectional.
And to my credit, I am going back and rewatching everything until Endgame. I'm gonna watch the Endgame,
good.
and then I'm not watching crap after that.
Good.
I might watch
that's all
you
Guardians
need to
3,
do.
but that's it.
Yeah,
I
Guardians
feel
3
like
is worth
up
it.
to Endgame, they were really good.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I was
that's my point. They go there afterwards.
Songs post Endgame were good. It's just I feel like the last 2 years have just been I don't know, they just missed the target.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I saw something where Feige was saying that he stopped like having his hand on everything because they had so many projects. But now he's saying like, oh, after he started looking back at some of this stuff, he's like, all right, we need to change things up. We're not going to keep doing this because we're like really damaging the brand.
They were
the
hemorrhaging
quality.
money really bad
Yeah.
over this stuff too.
Do it! Just do it! So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it! What are you waiting for?